Hi everyone. Someone made a post in a group earlier and I was going to answer her. And as I began writing my comment, I realized that I'm just going to share it as a video instead. So, ever since I was a child, people of all ages and all walks have consulted me because they could sense that I had a lot of wisdom about me. And one of the very first things I ever remember anyone asking me was the difference between fate and destiny. I'm going to answer this question more specifically in how it involves the twin flame journey. So, in general, I believe that fate is what happens to someone who just doesn't care. They just are riding the waves of life, not trying to do anything or have any kind of control over their own life journey. And they just kind of let life happen to them. Destiny, on the other hand, I believe, is our very highest potential that we can reach in this lifetime if we choose to follow our inner compass, our inner navigation system. So, essentially, I believe that fate and destiny has a lot to do with, or the words can be interchanged with, God's will versus our own personal will or our own human will. Fate would be that we're exercising our free will and choosing to be complacent and not participate at all. Destiny would be exercising our free will, but using that free will to surrender to a higher will that we know knows better for us than we do. So I'm going to break that down a little bit. When we're born into our human body, we're given a choice. We can choose to follow God's will, or we can choose to follow our human will. If we choose to follow our human will, then we're basically live as a carnal being, basing our choices on everything in the material or external world. If we surrender that and choose to follow God's will for our life, we can attain everything that we desire in our heart and soul. So, this is where a lot of people get confused or have a lack or misunderstanding of the difference between free will and destiny. So, everybody wants it to be black or white. Either everything is planned out or it isn't, and it unfolds based on our choices from moment to moment. So, from having followed God's guidance in my life for many years now, I've come to a point where I'm kind of at that proverbial mountaintop, looking down and able to see everything in the world beneath me. And I don't mean beneath me like less than. I just mean who haven't really chosen to climb that high up onto the mountain. So because I have chosen that path and achieved a lot of ground, have gained a lot of ground, I'm able to see things from a different vantage point perspective than other people. And interestingly enough, I think that even when I was a child, I had already made some progression in that regard without even realizing it. So back to destiny and free will. I don't think there has to be an either or. I think it's all of the above. I think we are given the choice to follow our destiny or not, but that destiny has already been laid out for us. And when we choose to surrender and to allow ourselves to be guided and to conscientiously follow that guidance, that's when we're going to achieve our destiny. So when we do that, we're going to encounter strange happenings, because when we follow the materialistic way of living, life is normal, if you want to call it that, average, conventional. But if we follow our destiny, then our life is going to provide unusual things because we're not following that conventional path. So we're going to have unconventional events come up in our life. And it has to happen that way in order for all the pieces to fit. You know, when you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle and you're trying to sort out the pieces based on the scene of that picture that you think they're in, when you start putting the puzzle together, you say, you know, it looks like it belongs in this section of the puzzle, but it doesn't. It really belongs way over on the other side or in a whole different portion of the puzzle. So you have to have an open mind and be ready to embrace and accept and receive all of those unusual things that you're absolutely not going to be able to wrap your carnal mind around. So that is basically what has happened with me in my experience. And this isn't directly answering the question that the person in the group had posted, but essentially it really is the explanation as to not only why strange things happen in our journey, but also not just the reason, but it I don't know, it's almost as backwards or reversed. So anyway, yes, from the time I was a child, people have consulted me about all different things, mainly relationships and romance and that kind of thing, because I think that's my niche that God gifted me with, is insight on that. But destiny and free will is just one of those things that it's just like a staple of our journey and trying to figure out what it all means and how both destiny and free will can fit into our life. And so everything fits, everything is. It's just a matter of what you choose to focus on and which of the many, many paths you choose to take to reach your destiny or your fate, whichever you decide. So I think that's all I'm going to say for this message. if I end up posting this, then I just want to say thank you for following along, and I wish you the best on your journey and have a wonderful day. Thank you.